I've worn glasses and a hearing aid for as long as I can remember. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been the different one. The kid who needed things to hear, see, and understand that everyone else didn't. It wasn't that I hated the glasses or the hearing aid. I never really gave them a second thought. They were just part of me, as much as my name or my birthday. But high school's a different beast. It doesn't matter how well you can see or hear the world if you're invisible to everyone else. I wasn't the geeky kid who wore braces or had bad acne. No, I was the quiet kid who sat in the back of the class, kept to himself, and always thought he was just a little bit too off to fit in. That was until I noticed her. Emily Matthews, the cheerleader, the popular girl, the one who everyone knew and everyone wanted to be around. She was beautiful, always smiling, always surrounded by a sea of friends, and always the center of attention. I'd watched her from a distance for the past year, wishing I could be someone else, someone who belonged. She didn't even know I existed. At least that's what I thought. But there she was, standing in the hallway one day, leaning against her locker, laughing with her friends. And there I was, walking to my next class, trying to keep my head down and avoid the crowd. That's when I saw it. Emily's eyes. They met mine, and for a split second, she didn't look away. She looked at me. Not with pity, not with the awkward glance you give someone you don't know, but like she was actually seeing me. My heart pounded in my chest. I quickly looked away, feeling embarrassed. It couldn't have been anything. She probably just looked at me because I was standing there, but a part of me held on to that moment. What if she saw me? What if she actually noticed me? The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions. Every time I saw her, I felt like my stomach was doing flips. I couldn't get over it. Emily Matthews, the girl I had admired from afar for so long, had looked at me. Not just looked at me, but noticed me. I wasn't invisible. But there was one problem. I wasn't good enough. I didn't fit into her world. I wasn't on the baseball team or the basketball team or any team for that matter. I didn't belong in the popular crowd. I didn't have the athleticism or the charm that came so easily to the other guys who hung around her. I just had my hearing aid, my glasses, and my quiet demeanor. It wasn't just about being on the same team. It was the fact that Emily's world was built on a different kind of popularity, one I could never break into. She had her group, her friends, her life. And I was just the boy who sat at the back of class, the one no one really noticed. I kept telling myself that I should stay away, that I shouldn't even think about her because nothing would ever happen. But then something happened. She spoke to me. It wasn't much, just a simple question about an assignment in history class, but when Emily Matthews turned to me and asked me for help, I swear my heart stopped. She looked at me, waiting for an answer, like I wasn't invisible, like I wasn't just the background noise of high school. After that, we started talking a little more. Small conversations in the hallway, casual exchanges during lunch, even the occasional text about schoolwork. But that was all. She still hung out with the popular crowd, and I remained on the outskirts. I was still the quiet kid, and she was still the cheerleader, with a world that I would never fit into. But then she invited me to the baseball game. It was one of those big school events where everyone came out to support the team, and of course, Emily was there cheering for the boys in the dugout. I was nervous as hell, but I told myself I had to go. Maybe this was my chance to prove I wasn't invisible. Maybe this was my chance to show Emily that I could be someone more than just the quiet kid who always sat in the back. I got to the game early, hoping to blend in with the crowd, but I couldn't help but notice how different it felt. The stands were full, the energy was high, and Emily looked perfect as she cheered for the baseball team. She was surrounded by her friends, all laughing and shouting for the team. I felt like I didn't belong there, like I was an outsider in a place where everyone else seemed to know their role. Still, I stayed, watching the game unfold, hoping that maybe, just maybe, I'd get a chance to talk to Emily again. But every time she looked over at me, I felt a wave of self-doubt. What was I doing here? I didn't belong in this world. I wasn't the kind of guy who would fit in with her, and I started to feel more invisible than ever. Then it happened. During halftime, Emily's friends started laughing and pointing at me from across the stands. I couldn't hear everything they said, but I could tell by the way they were looking at me that they were mocking me. I could feel my face flush with embarrassment. Why were they doing this? Why was I the target? But it didn't end there. One of the girls from her group, Amanda, made a snide comment, something about my glasses and hearing aid. I could see her smirking as she turned to Emily. The worst part? Emily didn't say anything. She didn't stand up for me. I felt my heart sink. Was this how it was going to be? Was I just a joke to them? I could feel all the eyes on me, the pressure of their stares. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my stuff and walked out of the stands, my legs feeling weak beneath me. I ran to the bathroom, slamming the door behind me and locking it. I stood there, looking at myself in the mirror, tears welling up in my eyes. Why did it always have to be like this? Why did I always have to be the one who didn't belong? The next day at school, I couldn't escape the whispers. People were talking. I could hear snippets of their conversations as I passed by. Did you hear about James? What's wrong with him? He's so weird. I didn't even bother trying to fit in anymore. Emily's friends had made it clear that I didn't belong. But then something unexpected happened. As the day went on, I noticed something strange. Emily came up to me during lunch. She seemed different. Her smile wasn't as bright, and her usual confidence seemed shaken. "James," she said softly, "can we talk?" I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to hear more about how I wasn't good enough for her. But I nodded, and we walked to a quieter part of the school. "I'm sorry about what happened at the game," she said. "I should have stood up for you. I didn't realize how bad it was until after you left." I stared at her, surprised. "You didn't realize?" "I didn't," she admitted. "I'm not proud of it. I'm sorry for treating you that way." For the first time in my life, someone truly saw me. Not just the kid with glasses or a hearing aid, but James, the real me. And in that moment, I realized something important. Maybe being different didn't make me invisible. Maybe it just meant I had a different path to walk. But I wasn't a ghost, and maybe, just maybe, I wasn't the only one feeling invisible. Emily and I talked more after that. It wasn't easy. There were still moments of awkwardness, but there was also something else, an understanding. Emily began to make a real effort to talk to me, to spend time with me without the pressure of her friends hanging over her. She admitted she didn't always feel like she belonged in the popular crowd either, that there was always an expectation for her to be perfect, to always have it together. And just like that, the pieces started to fall into place. Emily wasn't perfect. She wasn't the flawless, untouchable girl I'd once thought she was. She was just another person trying to find her place, just like me. By the end of the semester, I realized something else too. I didn't need to change for anyone. I didn't need to try to fit into a world that wasn't made for me. And maybe, just maybe, I wasn't the only one who felt out of place.